So, Martin, you're probably wondering, as everyone else is, why are we watching this? And what?
You read my mind.
And what are we watching? And actually, after viewing a few minutes of it, we both know what we're watching. Because this is a all right. Cool your jets, Martin. This is a family show. It was.
Hello, gorgeous.
Until a few.
Oh my God! Oh, it's the bad guy. Take me out.
It took the cigar. It took the cigar for you to not realize. Okay. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Anyway.
Nox needs Gulf no-nox.
President Roosevelt is the
So, Martin, so what we have here today is a kind of really neat thing. First, you know what? Let's open the show and just say, hey, welcome to Stories from the Attic, the podcast.
Welcome to Stories from the Attic.
I'm Greg Van Antwerp. Don't talk over me. What's your problem? I'm Greg Van Antwerp, and you are
Martin Blanco.
Thank goodness. Okay. And I'm so glad to have you here once again, Martin. This is we've done 12 shows previous. This is Lucky 13. Lucky 13. So nothing can go wrong with this show today.
Especially since I'm not the least bit superstitious.
That's right. So. Neither is I. Whoops.
Because if something did go wrong, it's not like things didn't go wrong on some of the other episodes that were not 13 that you managed to work around and repair and fix.
So what you're saying is that something could go right today?
Something could or it could go wrong, but it's nothing to do with the number 13. I want to be absolutely
You are not triskaidexophobic?
Not in the least.
All right.
Not in the least.
I don't even know what triskaidexophobic means.
Fear of the number 13? I don't know.
I thought it was the fear of Trix, the cereal. But speaking of...
Oddly enough, I do have that. I'm terrified of Trix.
Terrified of the Trix rabbit?
Yeah.
That's another show.
Yeah.
What we've been watching here is a wonderful piece of stop-motion animation from 1967 and by two producers, directed and performed by, very important, by Lan Jansen and Chuck Menville. And these two guys, the idea of stop-motion animation is not new, but the way in which these gentlemen applied it to live-action characters made for a crazy, fanciful piece of film, which actually I think was passed up by one studio and picked up by MGM. So hopefully, with their permission, we can show just this little bit of it.
Okay.
But we have something else by theirs, which we'll show in just a few minutes. But today's show is kind of special because what we're actually introducing today is a brand new YouTube channel. And does the world need another YouTube channel?
Oh, absolutely. No, there is, without question.
Oh, yes.
Well, several more.
The world may not, but we do. We absolutely do need another YouTube channel. And that's the reason for that is because of after 12 shows of content and promising that, hey, you've heard this clip of audio, you've seen this clip of video, it'll be someplace where you can go and see it. And we've lied terribly to the audience, not finding any good place to actually put it.
Lie seems so harsh a word.
We mistruthed.
We mistruthed.
We stumbled on honesty.
Okay.
So it wasn't dishonest, it was mishonest.
MisHonest.
It's sort of like somewhere in between a white lie and a foible.
Okay.
But
yes.
I just get my dictionary here and start rewriting pages. Anyway.
A moible.
There you go. A moible. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey Mo, it's a moible. Yeah. So what we've done is to create a new channel called Retro Media. And basically, it's not a new name. I'm sure there's 1,000 things out there. There probably is a gas station called Retro Media. I don't know. But it sounds good. It feels right. And it's going to be the landing place for a lot of new content that we have coming up and a lot of the content that we've shown in the past. And in a form that is quick and easy to get a hold of. and that's more important. So like every good feature film, which we have been really creating the treatments to in these past 12 episodes, should have a place for DVD extras. And that's kind of what Retro Media is as a channel.
Love the bonus features.
Bonus features, right. Bonus. It is a great word, bonus. Will be bonus for you. And that is going to be linked on this video. So if you go into the description of this video, you should be able to see the link to that channel. And we ask you very much to subscribe to both channels, all channels, every channel that we have. We would appreciate it greatly. But anyway, you're going to see some great footage, and it's going to be a great opportunity. And this today will be some proof, because I'm going to take some of the very first videos that not we created or we showed in our podcast, but some very first videos from a source that I happen to have in my attic from previous estate sales of many old vintage commercials. Your Department of Redundancy department.
Old not the new vintage.
Not the new vintage.
But
this
the
is
old
the
vintage.
old vintage.
Thank you for that clarification.
We call it
Okay.
So it's new vintage. We call it nintage.
Okay.
So what I'm doing today is I'm showing where this is actually on not the channel that you won't find Stop, Look, and Listen on our channel. You can just search Stop, Look, and Listen in 1967 and put that as a search, and it will come up with this wonderful, wonderful short, which really it was just about, I want to say it was about 10 minutes and 23 seconds long, actually. So we're gonna put this down to sleep for just a second, and then we're going to come and put up the first video that I want to show you, Martin. And the benefit here is Martin has not seen any of these commercials, maybe one. And certainly in your past, you've probably seen them, but not
recently, not for
recently.
Purposes of this program.
So we've got a couple of this is going to be, so let's see, we're going to go.
I testify that we do not know each other and we have not spoken previously.
That's right. There is nothing up my sleeve.
No.
Let's see. So to the right of the screen, let's see if it goes to the right place. Nope, we don't want to do that, and we want to go. Let's see. Through the magic of editing, it's just going to magically show up there and cooperate.
I like that.
And then there we go. Full screen. Yeah, full screen ahead, I like to say. Let's take a look. So you're going to see the logo for... oh, no. We're going to go right to the commercial.
Oh, yeah. Matchbox.
Matchboxes. You never had matchboxes as a kid, Martin?
No, but you know what this looks like? This looks like Hot Wheels.
It does look like Hot Wheels. And it's funny. There's definitely... I'm sure there's a war out there between Hot Wheels and Matchbox as to who had better what, and it's like, yeah, it's two different manufacturers.
But the track seems
identical,
and I remember I remember Matchbox cars with the tracks.
Right.
Okay.
And then we have another Matchbox commercial, and this is Matchbox Slot Racers, which apparently I don't remember this. I mean, again, this company's named Lesney, which sounds like a UK company, like Corgi almost. I remember Corgi cars because my mom was British, but you can make the cars into slot racers, and I don't actually know how that sort of happened.
Interesting. So it looks like Matchbox was moving out of the collectible play, play on your own terms, by creating tracks and fields for them now, akin to the Hot Wheels and slot racing. I also remember Johnny Lightning. That was another.
Oh, you're right. Well,
Lightning.
I remember the. I think this was definitely not Matchbox. This was Hot Wheels. I had like the orange track with the purple tongues.
Yes, yes.
And you can there's YouTube videos out there where folks our age and younger like put them all over the place and run them through beaches and all sorts of things, and have done really kind of more amazing, crazy things with us. Now, this next commercial that was one of the very first commercials that has been transferred, and I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine. His name is Hal Bernhardt, and he is the connection to getting these all transferred. And the reason why you see really great color on these, and even the sound, is that he's done the transfer work. In some cases, these are some of his collection. In some cases, they're some of my collection. But he has done the brute force transfer. He's got the tools. He's got the equipment, and he can do a great job. And
and we're saying transfer from some sort of videotape to digitized
film to video.
Film
so
to video,
these were probably at some point either on 35 millimeter, which is more akin to what you used to see in the movie theater before everything went digital and video. And then 16 millimeter, which if you were like you and I, forced to go to school in the 70s and 80s,
yes,
there was probably a large projector
yes.
Making all sorts of wonderful noises, and two big reels, and that was 16 millimeter film. 16 millimeter was the common format for these commercials to be transferred across the nation before they could be beamed by satellite or sent some other magical way. So they would actually just be shipped out. They would go onto a projector, what they called a telecine, that was basically a camera in one end and a projector in the other, and then it would be switched live sometimes to air. So if the evening news came up and for some reason, I don't know, Matchbox wanted to have a commercial in the middle of the evening news, for a local station, this would automatically come on from a piece of film and just air. A very neat process, but also now considered certainly archaic. And the quality that you see, I mean, again, we're watching film, we're not watching video, so the colors are muted. Things look a little bit more softer, but they also have a more kind of, I want to say, a different quality, an aesthetic.
And that's a given. I mean, people who know film know this, but just to say it, over time, colors in film will mute, they'll bleed, they'll deteriorate.
Right. Okay. The rule of thumb, as I learned, was that you never shot food in video. You shot it with film because older video formats saturated the colors and made the food less appealing. So if you were an advertising agency and you were going to capture a commercial with food, and someone said, "Oh, video's much cheaper, we can do it quick and fast," you'd be like, "Oh no. Film, we want to make it soft and mute and tone the colors the way we want to, so they look more appetizing." In video, things were kind of just incredibly bright and saturated, and it didn't make food appealing.
But over time.
Now we live in a digital world, and the color orange is a bunch of ones and zeros, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. But this is, again, and you are watching a digitized version of a piece of film, but you will still get the aesthetic difference as though it were shot in originally, and you're seeing it as it was originally aired. I promise. But let's see if I can get this one to play. Quickly. Oh, good. This is going to be good. And I don't even have to move anything. I can just hit this.
I'd much rather watch a rerun of F Troop. Do you have any of that?
I have F. You just want you want Jane. I know. So.
Are you in the market for a real good toy?
I am.
Then get Action Viewer for your children.
Oh gosh.
They can view Disney color movies without batteries. Just insert
Disney color movies without batteries. Get out.
View them in slow motion,
puff, and on puff,
fast motion,
even
reverse.
The great
and
Pinto
you can
Colvin
choose from
voiced
12
the big bad
color
guy
Disney
there.
cartoons.
Or backwards.
Action Viewer comes
hockey
complete with one Disney color cartoon. Additional cartridges.
So there you go. That's
I have one of those. I don't know if I saved it when we downsized, but I went to
just
a recycling center. I forgot if it was in Cape Cod or when we lived in Greenwich. They had a robust one. And they had a camera with 3 films.
Really?
And one was Disney's cartoon Lonesome Ghosts, which is a Donald Goofy creation. And there was a Mighty Mouse one. And I forgot if the third was Disney or Warner Brothers. But I said, these are great. And my kids, I only found 3 movies.
Really?
But they played with it. I don't know if we kept it or not when we downsized our house. But
how many?
What a great toy.
What a great toy. What a great toy. No batteries.
Yeah.
You probably needed to just hold it up to a somewhat bright light. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't do it in the dark.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But the point is that you could you could play with it in the car, anywhere on the way to Disney World.
If you will, sure.
That's, Or Disneyland. I don't want to,
I loved Viewmasters too, but this is like Viewmasters Plus, right?
Let's see.
That was a great one.
That was great. Yeah, I know. That is, let's see.
I love the dad hogging it. That's a nice touch.
Let's see. And this is.
Are you in the market for a great toy? It's funny because you have a young, attractive woman. What is she selling?
Right.
Toys. Are you in the market for a great toy? So obviously Madison Avenue thought, young attractive women can sell anything because there's a disconnect, right, between.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Her and what they were, because they weren't presenting her like a mom.
No.
Right. So I thought, what could this be?
It's it's funny. It even had kind of a European look to me. It was not didn't look like your kind of apple pie. and baseball family. It's something European about them. I'm being a little bit. No, I'm not. I'm just saying this is my observation. But
either way, it's not attractive at all, Greg. I don't like it. Whatever you're being, I don't like it.
I'm it has to do with casting. I'm very opinionated about casting. You could call me a castist.
Okay.
There's another word we can add to the vocabulary. Castist. Here's another commercial. This is a story you might recognize, but the way in which they film it is.
I'm about to tell you all there is to know about evening dresses.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Is
that a young Ralph Lauren? I don't know.
I don't know. He's obviously This is again something acceptable for the early 70s.
Yes.
But this guy going around sort of picking from.
Oh, what a great payoff!
Have you seen?
I have not seen that. Now,
have you seen the new Alexanders?
Everything you need to know about evening dresses.
Right.
Is that Alexander? No, I have not seen this commercial, but can I tell you, I probably spent what's tantamount of 4 years of my life in an Alexander's, but specifically the one on the Grand Concourse in Fordham Road in the Bronx, which is now I think at TJ Maxx.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Westchester, I think there was one on Central Avenue. But
it was. It wasn't White Plains.
Yeah,
it wasn't White Plains too.
That's Alexander's is where my parents would take us for everything, clothes, and the hours we'd spend. The hours where I could have been, I don't know. Yeah. Learning a musical instrument, playing, reading the great word, anything, but in that store. I hate Alexander's.
I know, but they had, but they did. Most of them did have. Did they have a ice cream?
I'm sure there was something
or popcorn. I seem to recall the flavor, the smell.
I remember
of
the smell of popcorn. Yes, I remember it distinctly.
Yeah,
but it didn't matter because we were there for 3-4 hours trying on clothes or whatever it was my parents were looking for. We just had to shut up, and be there and whatever, and it was. Absolutely.
Well, it's the onset of 70s inflation. So I think there was right next to this Alexander's was like a B. Altman or a Saks.
Yeah.
But then across town in White Plains was a Sears. So if you were looking to price things, you'd be like, well, we're not shopping. We're going for your Sunday best at B. Altman. We're going to do your regular maybe first set of clothes for school at Sears, and then. If we want to stretch our dollar, I always think Alexander's to me was a little more like the level of a Kmart or a TJ Maxx today, but it wasn't.
Listen, great. Everything you need to know about evening dresses.
Right.
At Alexander's.
I'm gonna admit that my first LBD was from Alexander's.
Okay.
My little black dress.
Okay.
What's from Alexander's? No, it was a great store. It was a great kind of an opportunity to grow up with a lot of selection and choice, and we were, thoroughly spoiled by the amount of selection, and our parents probably somewhat enjoyed the fact that they had many to choose from.
Sure.
Now here we go with. Remember what we started out with was these two wonderful filmmakers. The Jensen and Manville, and actors, but they sold their idea. They started trying to shop it around, and for one of the very earliest Super Bowls, when Super Bowl commercials were in their infancy. These guys got a deal with Gulf or the advertising agency, liked what they were seeing and talked Gulf into having some spots made. So here we have for their no-nox fuel.
I remember the no-nox fuel.
Remember no-nox?
Yeah. Does your engine knock?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe that's why I saw this in the Gulf commercial. Not so much
this would have been repeated over and over and over again.
Whoever that actress is played Bernays Barbara in season 1 of The Odd Couple.
Oh my gosh. That's a great
Hurry up and wait. You don't like it. Gulf knows you don't. So we don't keep you waiting.
This is great.
Stop in wherever you see this 10-second clock.
I remember the
and
clock.
Your Gulf dealer will greet you in 10 seconds or less. Then he'll do his best to wash your windshield. Offer to check under your hood.
That's a nice touch. That's a nice touch.
Whatever's needed to speed.
Golf.
Great piece of. Great piece
funny.
of use funny.
Yep.
Appeals to all ages. Would be the perfect, the perfect commercial to run during the Super Bowl in attempts to make it a family experience.
Sure.
And it really just is just it's easy to rewatch again and again, and it's great fun. That
As
way.
I recall, golf was sort of on the, I don't want to say cutting edge, but the catchphrase I remember is "good golf."
Good golf, right?
Good golf. And I remember a bunch of commercials where you'd be on the timer that the gentleman would come out, he's got a bow tie, very clean.
Right.
And he's going to, I think in a minute, fill your tank, wipe your windshield front and back and maybe check your oil.
Right.
All by the time that clock goes around. But then the other thing about golf is that in the late 60s, they were offering premiums with the Philip. You would get the Walt Disney magazine.
Oh, wow.
And this was a beautiful magazine which had stories based on the movies, illustrations, a little cartoon goofy on sports or goofy on golf.
Right.
Little puzzles. But it was a thick, substantial magazine, much better than Highlights.
Right.
And all at your golf station.
A great thing to hand the kiddies while they're, while some service is getting done, whether it be a short service or a longer service.
Yeah.
And again, smart marketing, smart public relations. Here's another one. And this one is going to be, we're going to want to look out for a person in here that you might recognize. And again, it's funny that you mentioned Bernays Barbara from The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
So.
Consider the care and feeding of a motor vehicle.
Who's that bus driver?
Al Molinaro. Murray from The Odd Couple.
That's right. I don't think that was Billy Barty, but it could have been.
No, okay.
Go for regular. And powerful cars use premium.
Look at the guy on the phone. I love that.
Yeah. He's driving a standard.
Great skid marks.
But a car that knocks.
The only commercial where you can say skid marks and it works out.
Stop. No-nox golf.
No-nox.
Imagine what no-nox can do for a car that doesn't knock. Try a little and see.
Okay.
A great, it's always great to point out because it's a game my wife and I play, which is, she was that in this. And he was that in this, fun. And then that too. And it becomes a sort of fun bit of trivia you can play.
Sure, and no one is in more of these sort of games than Penny Marshall, who would also go on to be in the Odd Couple playing Oscar Secretary Murder. But she was in so many commercials and guest spots in TV shows before she became Myrna, and then obviously Laverne and Shirley became a great filmmaker. But Penny Marshall was all over your TV. I remember public service announcements for wearing your seatbelts.
Oh, really?
Like, wow. Sherman or whomever, Harry, do you love me? Oh. Yes, then wear your seatbelt.
That brings up a good point, Martin, and that is if anybody has any suggestions for vintage commercials they'd like to see. Because the ones that you're seeing here, some will be familiar to people, and some will be no one's ever seen them before. Yeah. I mean, really rare stuff. And we have a great source of it. And because the estate sales, where again I'm trying to go in and preserve history and get these things saved before they're considered to be, what format is this? Nobody uses this anymore. And
boom,
pling.
goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Along with my headphones. But that's the thing, is that the goal here is for us to present history in a way that encourages and excites people about it and gets them to consider, I wonder what's in my attic. And we'll do more of these because there's a lot of really great opportunities for even local people, because like you're seeing in these ads, a lot of them came right out of New York City and then were recorded filmed using people from the local area. So there's a very well-known commercial, a Wrigley's commercial with the Double Mint Twins that was shot right in New Milford, Connecticut, on that expansive green there. And then there's another commercial where I think I just was at a sale and I said, this is what I'm looking for, and she said, oh, my brother was in a Yodels commercial. And I'll tease because we'll show that one maybe during the next program. But this is really what's so great about these vintage ads is that they're gone. And now that there isn't, television is kind of streaming on demand now, that we have the opportunity to kind of usurp that. And if people will tune in, watch our podcast, they'll get to see, or go to Retro Media as the YouTube channel, they'll get to see these things. We're going to do one more commercial because we're getting close to the end of the program here. I want to give everyone a chance to, usually, Martin, the commercials were the time to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Well,
which reminds me.
I know. I was going to say.
Well, the next commercial, I'll be no.
Well, what do we do when there's a whole show of commercials, Martin? Oh dear, that's why there are buckets under the table.
That's why we have.
We can't leave. The
coffee cans.
Coffee cans. But we'll finish with what's probably the most famous of all. Of the Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, can I guess which one it is?
Yes, you can guess, Martin, but don't ruin it for the audience. So guess to yourself. Just say I knew it. Would be good. But here we go. So we're going to see the little promo for Retro Media first, because we get to have our own special presentation.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees, snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with me.
Now, what's really neat about this is, again, my partner in transfer expertise, Helga Bernhardt, he has found he's done a great job with the color restoration on this, because these turn red after a while. The color fades.
Yeah, I was going to say the color is very good.
It's an excellent copy. You can see this commercial in a lot of places, but the audio, he went and found the best copy of audio he could find to match with this, and so. Because there's certain,
so we color corrected and then
sound corrected,
boosted the audio.
Yeah, so it is probably one of the best versions out there, and that's really neat. And then we just give a little shout out to McCann Erickson. They're the ones that did that. And if you were ever a fan of Mad Men, they actually, I think the series ends with him, the John Hamm character, actually being the one who. Is the one that gets the approval for the what they call, actually it's called the Hilltop commercial. It's the,
and until now I never remembered or noticed that it was a hilltop in Italy.
Yeah,
which I think is also cool.
That's another part of the story, is that when they went to go make this spot, they got approval, they found the location. They went and they got there, and of course you're on a hilltop in Italy, and you've got incredible winds that are buffeting, and you can't have everybody kind of swing back and forth and everything, all the gear and equipment. So they had to hold off production and hold off production and hold off production, and in that time. They had also tried to find like 1,000 extras, so they could represent all the colors of all the races in all the world, and of course it was very hard to do, and then keep them kind of waiting, and then at some point they have their
couldn't they have just given them Cokes? It's like here have a Coke and shut up, right? Not enough, right?
It's more like if we don't shoot today, I'll give you a Coke.
Okay.
It turned out they were all very gassy and over sugared and diabetic. By the time they did finally shoot the commercial, no. But no, what happened was that even the principals that you see, because obviously they don't show everybody, even the principals when they were ready to shoot had disappeared, and they had to go. Literally, these producers from McCann Erickson had to go around town and go into like the soda shop and go, "Excuse me, young lady, you look like you could be in a commercial." I mean, people think that doesn't often, happen. But these guys really had to do that, to pull this commercial together. Yeah, to get the weather and get the people, and then finally, and really, they come up with one of the world's most famous commercials.
Sure.
And we were happy to show it here and in its best light.
I didn't realize this debuted or was part of a Super Bowl commercial. I know the commercial and its variants well. But when you said the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
The most famous one I thought of was Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
It was the one with Mean Joe
Joe Green.
Which would have been
we may have a version of that someday.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So people
don't
really...
tease me, Greg. Don't toy with me.
This is why you see subscribe to Retro Media.
Okay.
Because we have some very, very special pieces of film and audio and all sorts of things. So if you want to hear James Caan again tell you that your mother's a chicken, your father's a chicken, we're going to have that audio there.
Save a life.
Or maybe there's footage of a couple arguing over the most inane things, or Ford announcing the resignation of President Nixon and this sort of family listening. So
that would be a good one.
Yeah, all the great bits from the past 12 episodes are going to be put up onto Retro Media. So, but you know what? For now, Martin, that's the end of the show. I mean, we've talked for half an hour straight.
So I can go to the bathroom now. No.
We can now. Right now the show starts in general, and now people will go to the bathroom.
Okay,
as
it should be.
We've flipped it on its ear, Martin.
Okay.
But just remember. And for you at home too, please leave the seat down, okay? Don't leave the seat up. Anyway, Martin, thanks so much for joining me on this episode.
Greg, it was a pleasure.
And we'll see you again next time, right? Real
Absolutely.
soon. All right. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thanks a lot.
But a car that knocks needs Gulf no-nox.
President Roosevelt is the
Oh my God. I didn't know what to make of all of that.
Should we start recording? Oh, no. Let's see.